Hello, cosmic beings. Welcome to Being Cosmic. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I am so glad that each and every one of you are here. My name is Devon, and I will be doing a collective message today. So, with that, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Okay, so I'm being called to tell you how this message came to be. So I was being stubborn. My human self was being stubborn. And I was like, I'm not recording a divine counterpart message today. I'm not doing it. Um, Basically, sometimes bringing through certain messages, especially this type when you're on this journey. Ugh. Anyways, basically, a few days ago, I thought something was manifesting and it's not, and it's all good. We're here for you. But that's why I was like, I'm not going to bring this message through. Then I was doing a diamond painting because I discovered recently that they're fun and kind of like I can get into a meditative state. So I was just doing that. It's pretty cool. It's like a Jack Skellington on like a tarot card and it says the king at the bottom. It's pretty cool. Anyways, so I was doing that, just kind of zoning. And then I started hearing conversation. Well, actually, I started hearing, I love you. I love you too. I always have. I always will. And it was like different voices. And I was like, okay, who loves who? Like, who loves me? What are we talking about? Like, what is this? And then I heard, um, basically like divine counterpart message. And I was like, okay, well, I'll write this down, but I'm still not recording this today. So I was listening to this conversation between a masculine and a feminine. Um, and then I was like, okay, so I wrote it down and I was doing my diamond painting and I was like, I'm not doing it today. I already set the line. I'm not doing it, because that's the thing too. Like us as humans, we have free will. So you can, just set those boundaries. An example, I used to get hounded by different energies when I would go to sleep. And then I have to set certain boundaries at times, like, hey, my human needs sleep. Like, you need to give me a night off. And you have full free will to do that. So I was using my free will today to not bring this through. And then my dad's voice came to me. And he actually passed away about 6, 7 months ago. And I heard my dad, and he said, honey, you need to bring this through. And I was like, fine. If you're gonna bring that through, fine. So here we are. Um, I don't know why I was called to tell you all of that. Maybe some of you are kind of playing with those boundaries when it comes to being more open, hearing things, seeing things, so on and so forth. And it works the same way. Like if you are seeing stuff that you don't want to see, you can close it down and just be like, I don't want to see this right now. So anyways, maybe that's part of it. But now I'm going to get into the conversation I was hearing, which was really interesting. So I heard I love you, and that was the masculine. And then I heard I love you too, and that was the feminine. And then in unison, I heard both the masculine and the feminine say, I always have, I always will. Then I heard the feminine, I think this was the feminine, that said, I know you're scared. I am here for you always. And then I think this was the feminine as well. But just take it as it resonates. I didn't write down exactly which one was which. It happens really fast. So then the next one was, I've forgiven you in the situation. Will you forgive me too? And then there was a yes. And then this one's weird. So just take this if it resonates. Then I heard a masculine say, I just want to go fishing. And then I heard a feminine say, I'll go with you. So take that if it resonates. One of these days, I'm going deep sea fishing. That is on my bucket list. Anyways, okay, let's drop in and see what wants to come through for you. What wants to come through for the counterparts today? Okay, so I'm hearing it has to do with the union window still being open. And then I don't want to put fear into it, but I did hear that the union window is closing for now, soon. And I'm hearing like weeks. So maybe there's a few more weeks left of this actual union window. In what that can mean is it's not saying that you won't be able to come into contact. You won't be able to reconcile or reunite or whatever it is that you're desiring, but what it has to do with is the energy. So if you both are like at this door ready to walk, ready to open it and have a path illuminated for you where you can be in union if you so choose, it's one of these things where because the spiritual journey is so complex and it's like an always evolving kind of an energy. Sometimes what will happen is the masculine and the feminine will be in alignment with each other and then a union window opens. And I'm hearing that you've had many union windows open. This is the closest you've ever been to actually walking through it or actually, and I'm seeing the door again. So if you haven't watched any of the past Counterpart readings, there's a visual that keeps coming up, and it's a prop door, and there's a masculine on one side, a feminine on the other side, and there's a doorknob on the masculine side, but not the feminine side. And then it's like they're both just standing there, kind of in a stasis, kind of just hanging out, waiting to see, what's going to happen. Well, what can happen is it's one of these like you both are so close to reconnecting in some way. And again, a union's going to look different for all of you, like a physical union. Some of you, maybe you come together and you work together. Maybe you create something together. And I feel like a lot of you are being called together to create something right now that really wants to be birthed by the two of you. And again, that can be a physical child if that is something you desire. That it can also be, a book or a podcast or a piece of art. And I heard music, so maybe it's music for some of you. But it's like something wants to be created with the two of you. And that's part of the reason you're being pushed together so hard right now, and it's up to the human and the free will to make that happen. And so what will happen is energetically, if you choose, and I'm more speaking to the masculine here, if you choose not to open the door right now and this union window does close, it's because then you're both going to be sent on a different growth trajectory, and then another union window will open at some point, probably not that long because you both are in alignment now and you both are really on this journey. So I feel like these union windows might actually open up more and more for you because you're both really more committed to the path now than I feel like you previously have been. So, anyways, I don't want to put like urgency and you have to do this now or otherwise you're going to miss your chance, because that's not the case. It's just right now in this now moment, whenever you're watching this, there is a union window open. And I feel like what's happening is the feminine's getting ready to do something in their physical life, and it's going to catapult the energy to a different level to where you're going to be out of alignment with each other for a little bit until the masculine, and then you'll be guided masculine to do, your own growth and everything else. And when you're in that growth phase, you're going to be kind of physically kept at a distance until that energy aligns again. And so it's one of these things where you've got an opportunity now to open the door and do this next growth phase with your feminine, or you can do it separately. So that's kind of what's coming. And I normally don't get time frames. So the fact that I'm hearing like a week or a couple weeks, yeah, it's like I heard a week and then I heard weeks. So maybe 1 to 2 or 3 weeks, um, something like that. So just take it as it resonates. Again, I don't want to give you like a sense of urgency where you feel like you have to do this, because this is very much just extra guidance. Make sure you're listening to your intuition. Make sure that you're actually listening to your intuition and your fearful and your anxious thoughts aren't taking center stage, and then you're thinking that's your intuition, which, can be tricky at first until you really build that relationship with your intuition, which, I mean, for me, my intuition's been pretty on point, but I didn't actually trust my intuition for a long time. And so it's just, it's building that relationship and learning that you can trust it. So just make sure that you are actually listening to your intuition, doing your best to release those anxious thoughts. I also just saw like journaling. So maybe if you journal those thoughts that are coming up, when you get it on paper and then you look back and you read it, you can actually start to kind of see like, oh, that's intuition. Oh, this is fearful, anxious thoughts. And that's another way you can kind of identify which one's which. If they hold a ton of fear and a lot of lack mentality, and this could never happen, so on and so forth, those are going to be fearful, anxious thoughts. Your intuition is going to be more quiet and more kind of like self assured in a way. It's more of just like, yes, this is available for you now. And then that's it. And then those fearful, anxious thoughts come in and, give all the stories and the reasons why that's not the case, or all the what ifs and the doom and gloom and, the doubt and all of that. So maybe that's a helpful tool that you can try. And if so, let me know. I'd love to hear if some of these tips and tools I've been talking about, if you've tried them, if they're working for you. Anyways, so let's see what cards just came out. Okay, that's really funny. We've got deceit and patience. This deceit energy, I'm really feeling this is self-deceit. So we were just talking about those anxious, fearful thoughts. I really feel like that's what this is referring to. Is just really being up in your head and thinking all the things. And then we've got the patience card. And normally I take this as divine timing, but the divine timing for this is right now because you're in alignment for it. And so I feel like this is coming through to let you know that yes, there is a union window open. It's going to be open for a little bit longer. Um, and do your best not to like operate from that urgent energy of I have to do this now, otherwise I'm going to miss my chance. Make sure you're coming from more of an authentic place where you're like, okay, I'm listening to my intuition. I feel ready for this. Let's see where it goes. We've got woman holding a heart and the angel of love and anxiety. And yeah, I think this anxiety card's really just affirming that being stuck up in your head. And maybe financial matters are part of this. Maybe something happened in your finances recently. What's interesting though is I am picking up that for this particular thread of energy, these financial constraints are leaving. And so it's one of those, do your best not to attach to the lack energy when it comes to your finances. And that is going to help you to fully embrace this financial abundance that is attempting to make its way to you. It is in your energy. I am feeling abundance in your energy. And, it's one of those things like we're all abundant. We're all, you know, part of the, oh, what's it called? Universal abundance energy. Like that's our birthright. And then we're, born into a system where that's not what we're told, and so we're trained to attach to lack when it comes to a lot of things, but definitely finances and resources and things like that. And it's for a reason. It's to keep us in fear and controllable and all of that. So know that you do have the power within you to pick a different story and to allow yourself to experience a different experience when it comes to finances and stability and all of that. And also love. And we've got woman holding a heart. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then we've got the first chakra, and it was in reverse. So you could be being called to balance your root chakra a little bit, your base chakra. You can wear the color red, you can eat red foods. You can put your bare feet on the earth, grass, dirt, whatever. Those are very grounding techniques. And then you can also just visualize like red light at the base of your spine spinning in a way where it clears all those blockages. And then reaffirm things, like I am abundant. It feels great to be so abundant. And, kind of allow yourself to play with the idea of being completely financially free and think about it. It's one of these things where if you visualize yourself being out of survival mode, how much, I want to say better, it's kind of not the best way to put it, but how much better can you show up in your life from that place where, it's not a struggle and you've got an overabundance of resources and opportunities and you're not sitting there worried about paying this bill or saving $20 at the grocery store, whatever. Just think about that alternative and know that when you think about that and you tap into that energy, that timeline, that experience is available to you now. And so the more you hook onto that and feel how good it feels to be in that energy, the more you are allowing that in. Okay, what else? What else is going on? Interesting. We've got the door to romance. So, yeah, I feel like that's just extra confirmation to let you know that this is available for you if you so choose it. Um, hmm, and then, so is that the masculine? That's the feminine's energy. Oh, interesting. So I just noticed the cards are coming out in a very specific way right now. And sometimes when I do like personal relationship readings, this is actually how I set it up to where one energy, like one person is on this side, the other person's on this side. So actually what I'm picking up is that the masculine energy in the situation is more in this mental anxious state, and then also probably worried about finances, just because we do have financial constraints, plus the root chakra, the base chakra came out in reverse. But then we've got the door to romance, and so it's one of these things like this is here for you in mm, I want to say like you don't need to worry about this, but I do understand from the human perspective why it is a worry. It's just know that this is more superficial when it comes to this connection. This type of connection has the ability to help you to unlock different aspects of the self and unblock certain things. And then you do this to this person as well. So that's that balance. Um, Okay. And then for some of you, and I'm speaking to the masculine now, for some of you, what I just heard is that you feel like that your finances need to be in a different level before walking through this door to romance. And you can do that if you choose. Just know that you don't have to. That's not necessary. Yeah, because it's one of these things like what I'm seeing is this connection where maybe both of you or one of you aren't exactly completely, financially free, let's say. And then once you come together and work together energetically and so on and so forth, and even physically, and maybe, attempt a union, something like that, that's when all of a sudden the finances just like all the blocks around the finances just lift. And I'm seeing it for both of you. And then I just heard things aren't what they seem. So maybe you're looking at your feminine in a way where you are And I just heard jumping to conclusions. So maybe you're viewing your feminine in a different way, and you're thinking that you need to be in this position to be able to, I just heard provide for your feminine. And if that's the case, I mean, that's understandable because that is, that's a masculine energy to want to provide fully for your feminine. That being said, this is one of those situations that it doesn't need to be one sided like that. This is a situation where you can come together and both of you can work on the finances in a balanced way and really step into this completely overly abundant state of being. Okay. And then over here, we've got, is that the feminine energy? Yeah. Okay. So, what I'm picking up over here with the feminine energy is the feminine is indeed holding their heart for you. The feminine is very much tapped into their intuition. And I just heard that might be part of what scares you too, is maybe you haven't really experienced communicating with somebody who is as intuitive as your feminine is. Um, and if that's the case, I'm being told to go into that. Okay, so if that's the case, the thing is intuition is an interesting thing, but it's not like your feminine's going to be able to read your mind and know every single thought that you're thinking and know every single thing you've done or haven't done or whatever. It's being tapped in and accessing energy that is available. And so it's one of those things, like, even if you've been watching me or other readers for a while, sometimes there'll be stuff that's blocked. And it'll be like, okay, I'm not allowed to get any more information about this. That's how that works. And so if you're worried about, like, I don't really know if I'm comfortable completely being near somebody who can read my mind completely, that's not fully how it works. It's just being able to pick up on extra, like, it's picking up on different levels of energy and information, but there is this element of only being able to access what you're allowed to access in that moment. And so there is still free will. And so it's one of those things, like, if you don't want this person to know something and they're extremely intuitive, they might pick up on that energy and be like, okay, there's something that's being hidden, or there's something that's not being completely said, or something like that. And then, you'll get the hit of, like, is this a nefarious thing? Is this, a secret that, is some shady shit? Or is this something that this person just doesn't want me to know about right now? Like a surprise, or, if you're getting to know somebody, there's certain things you're not going to just be like, oh yeah, here's all my stuff. It'll come up in layers. And so, yeah. Okay, that was a little random side note tangent. Um, then we've also got the patience card, and when it comes to the feminine, I feel like the feminine is being guided to really stay patient, but not stay in the waiting energy. So it's one of these things, like, listen to your intuition, which you already are. And when it's time to, do things in your life, do those things. When it's time to make certain moves, make those moves. And then just stay open and receptive to your masculine when, when the time is right for it to happen. But don't stop living your life. And I think that's a big thing that kind of gets misconstrued when we're talking divine counterparts, is it's this, sometimes the narrative is like the feminine just sits there and waits, and it's like, no, that's not the guidance. You're still guided to live your life and find joy and experience life, and then just, stay open and receptive to your masculine if that's what you want. And when the time is right and energetically things are in alignment and everything else, that's when the masculine can step through that door if they choose to. So, yes. And then we've got door to personal healing and happiness. And I feel like this is the door, when I see that prop door, this is kind of that energy of, if you allow yourself, then this is more for the masculine. If you allow yourself to open that door and walk through it, then you're really going to find just I mean, it's deeper alignment. It's personal healing, it's happiness, it's abundance. And it's not saying that your feminine provides this for you. It's saying that you are allowing yourself to get into alignment with your highest version, no matter how scary it feels, no matter how intense it might feel, no matter how triggering it might be. You're allowing yourself to do that. And that is where, when you continuously seek for that alignment, that's when you continuously find, healing and happiness and abundance and joyful experiences and so on and so forth. Not saying that you're not going to have those things if you don't do this. It's just, it's energetically, it's going to be easier when you choose to do that, when you choose to walk through this door, because there's an energetic shift. There's blocks are going to be removed almost instantaneously, is what I'm seeing. It's energetically, it's going to shift your life. And maybe that's part of where you're kind of in your head too, is you're like, I don't know, I can't foresee how my life is going to change, but I know it's going to change in a very big way. And maybe that's part of what's kind of keeping you back right now, is like, ooh, that's a lot. And I mean, that's understandable. Just know that, yeah, it is going to be life changing. It is going to be, your life is never going to be the same. But I feel like the energy before you choose to walk through the door is kind of just stale, a little bit stagnant. Not bad per se, but not, I'm out here living my best life. And then if you choose to allow yourself to open that door, even if you aren't in union with this person, it's something with opening this door and communicating with this person that's going to allow you to release a bunch of blocks and stagnant energy and things like that. And so it's really going to help assist this process of really tapping into alignment and having this personal, I just heard freedom, which is interesting. Um, so if that's something that you're desiring, that is a byproduct of this freedom, financial abundance, um, an easier, it's almost like the ability to tap into that peaceful energy is just easier. Um, and then, personal healing, that's, healing, alignment, etc. Hmm. Okay. Okay. So I had to pause it really quick to blow my nose. It's doing the thing, which is indicating blocked communication or wanting to communicate. So when I paused it, I kind of heard what these next two cards that came out were for. So we've got indecision energy on the masculine side again. And I feel like, and then I heard recoil, which is funny because then I thought of a gun and then a snake. So maybe that's extra confirmation for somebody. Um, anyways, so I heard recoil. So I feel like, because this was in reverse a few days ago and it felt like the energy was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then something happened where it like recoiled. Um, and then it was like, oh, yeah, maybe not. And then I looked over here and I saw the hostilities card, and that's more on the feminine side, which is interesting because it doesn't really feel like the feminine's energy in this connection. And then take this as it resonates. I'm not trying to provoke fear or anything like that. It's just more of the awareness on the situation. This stuff does happen. So there's two things that I'm picking up. One is, it is what it is. It's energetic attacks. And sometimes what can happen is it can skew the perspective on either side. So that could be part of what is happening right now. And yeah, yeah. So just take that as it resonates. Whether this is somebody external, like a third party, actually doing nefarious things, or it's just like in the control system, um, other beings that are doing their best to keep counterparts in separation, influencing it, something like that. If that's the case, and if you're resonating with that, I do have like an energy clearing video. I'll do my best to remember to link it at the end of this. It's something like it was like a bonus video. I did a series on black magic and what it is and how you can know if you're being affected by it, and then what you can do to take your power back and shift out of that paradigm. Um, I also did a bonus video where I do like an energy clearing. And so all you have to do is watch it. It's like 4 or 5 minutes long, and then just open yourself up to receive the energy clearing that I do. Um, the other thing you can do is you can tap into your heart space and you can send your counterpart just a ton of like love energy, and that will help to counteract some of these effects as well. The other thing that I was picking up is that for the masculine, you may have actually spoken to somebody, and maybe it was one of these like, okay, I'm gonna communicate, or I'm thinking about reaching out to this person, and this might be what's going on, this might be my person. And then that person said something that planted doubt. Okay, so I'm being told to go into this. This is my perspective and my understanding as it is now, so take it as it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. Um, it's kind of like in the Matrix where anybody who's plugged in can be an agent. Anybody in this realm who isn't conscious, who isn't consciously aware of their energy and so on and so forth, there can be outside influences that work through people who are completely unconscious and do things like plant seeds of doubt, or you know this is where this is part of the reason why it's really recommended as well not to talk to certain people about like your dreams, your embryonic ideas, so on and so forth, because especially if somebody is not in the energy to receive what you are saying, it can energetically drain the inspiration and the motivation when it comes to that. And the same thing happens in these types of situations, because if you're looking at it from the lens of the controlling systems in place that are crumbling, but if you look at it from that perspective, divine counterparts coming together and working together and birthing things into creation is very problematic because it holds such a high frequency. And so it can have a ripple effect in the collective that is very, very powerful and help to bring other people into a level of consciousness where they're not being affected by those systems anymore. So just keep that in mind. Okay. What else is going on? But just remember you're a free will being and you have the power and the authority not to allow this stuff to affect you. So just remember that as well. And you do have the power and the authority to clear and cleanse your connection with this person as well. So, okay, moving right along. Interesting. Okay, we've got broken heart, appreciation, and action. And that's interesting because it's like bridging these two energies the way that I just kind of laid them down. So, the broken heart energy, I feel like because this is for the masculine, I feel like because you're back in this indecision energy with the anxiety card and the deceit card, I feel like this is what is really causing this broken heart energy, or really keeping you in this energy. Um and kind of blocking this door to romance. Um that being said, I feel like funnily enough, I feel like the recommended advice is to tap into this appreciation energy, this gratitude energy. And it can even be, just gratitude for running water, for a bed to sleep in, those kinds of things. It can be little things like that up until the big things. And you can really send out this appreciation energy into future things that you wish to experience. And this is really, we're getting into manifestation, things like that. This is really where this happens. Um, so really do your best to pull out of those anxious thoughts to the best of your ability, kind of ignore them, allow it to just be kind of like an irritating thing that you're just not really paying attention to. I just kind of got the visual of like if you have kids or if you've been around kids and they're like toddlers and they're just running around screaming and you're just kind of letting it be background noise. That's kind of the recommendation with those anxious thoughts right now is to just allow it to be background noise and consciously attach to things that you are grateful for and you are appreciative of. Whether it doesn't matter how small or how big that thing is, it's the energy of attaching to those things that pull you more into this appreciation, gratitude, um energy. And then we've got the action card. And so I do feel like you're really being guided to take action. Um and because we're talking counterpart and it kind of literally bridged the gap here. Um I do feel like you're being guided to take action when it comes to this and communicate. Okay, we're getting into the tarot really quick. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna flip the cards all over. Okay, I just split the deck. And oh, I thought that was the 6 of songs. Okay. It was the 7 of songs, but I thought it was the 6 of songs, which is the nostalgic energy. And it's kind of that playful, childlike energy. So do your best to kind of pull into that and just kind of get into that goofy, silly energy and do something like that. And that's going to help you to pull out of this anxious energy as well. Um, so what wants to come out about this situation, spirit? The two of skins. That's the two of wands. So, and that's funny because it's kind of in the middle here, and that's saying that you do have two paths open and available to you right now. And so you're really being guided to sit with that and see what it is that you really want to pursue. Um, do you want to, and I guess I'm more speaking to the masculine right now. Do you want to go through that door and see what life is like with your feminine and give it a shot? Or do you want to keep that door closed and go a different direction? And so that's kind of the choice that you have in front of you at this moment. And that's not saying that if you choose to go the path away from your feminine right now, that you're not going to be able to circle back. It's just for right now, I feel like you're really being guided to make a choice. And that's part of this like anxious thoughts too, is if you're sitting there, on the fence, one foot in, one foot out, and you're like, well, I do want to, but I don't want to, but I'm scared to, but I really want to, but I'm being told to, but I don't really know. And it's that real indecision energy and it's up in your head. Once you make the decision, whatever decision you choose, you're going to find a sense of relief. If you do choose, this is okay, so this is what I'm saying. If you choose to, you know, pick a path that doesn't include walking through the door and seeing where things go with your feminine, if you choose the other path for now, what I'm kind of seeing is that you're going to feel a sense of relief, but there is also going to be that pull and that kind of longing energy that's there because you have unfinished business with this person. So it's not like that's going to go away. It's just, you're going to find a different sense of relief, maybe be able to pull out of these anxious thoughts a little bit, but there is still going to be that pull. There is still going to be that longing, and you are going to circle back at some point and be at this door again where you can choose to reconnect with your feminine. Um, if you choose to walk through the door and see where it leads with the feminine, what I'm seeing is the path. Okay, so the path where you choose to walk away from the door and not open it. It's more dull, I guess might be the best way to put it, and it's for both of you. And it's not saying it's gonna be, like, bad and, this and that. It's just it's not going to have the potential that walking through that door has. It's going to just it's gonna be similar to what you've been experiencing in life up to this point. Um, and you've changed and you've evolved, so it's not gonna be you're not gonna be going backwards, but it's not there's the potential when I see the door open and the masculine walk through, there's another path that illuminates. And when that masculine walks through and the feminine's there, and it's like you two are standing right next to each other, there's like this glow. It's like just yeah, it's like a glowing light from both of you. And then there's a path that's literally glowing that kind of appears in front of you both. If the door stays closed, that light that I'm seeing isn't there as much. Like, it's still there a little bit, but it's not to the extent that it is when that door is opened. So hopefully that makes sense. Sometimes trying to verbalize visions can be a little tricky, but hopefully I was able to transmit that to you clear enough to where you can kind of see. Because again, you have free will, so it's not like you have to do this. It's just you're at this door, you have so much potentiality on the other side of this door, and it's here for you. A lot. It's here for you if if you choose it. Okay. Let's see. So we've got a lot going on here. Give me just a second. Oh, yeah. Oh, we've got a counterpart out here. Okay, give me just a second. Okay, so I had to blow my nose again. All right, so I'm kind of seeing a progression. And what I'm seeing is, and it goes like masculine to feminine. And what I'm seeing is it's more of this progression of like where this can go if you choose to walk through the door. Um, wow. Okay. So let's do this. We've got the 5 of dreams. This is the five of swords. And what's really coming through on this imagery for me is really being stuck in your thoughts. And that's that hostility, self-deceit, anxious thoughts, fearful thoughts, all of that. Then we've also got the 6 of honey, which is it's this energy of something that you were working really hard on didn't come to fruition. And honey is pentacles, so this is in the physical realm. So this could be a job, finances, a living situation, a location, etc. But it's this energy of putting a lot of effort and energy into something that didn't produce the results that you originally intended on. But what we've got here is we've got the chariot and the 9 of honey. So the 9 of pentacles is a self-made energy. The chariot is action forward, it's movement forward, and it literally landed on the action card. This is determined action. This is very much that initiator energy. And so I feel like what this is talking about is the masculine opening the door. And when you open the door or allow yourself to do so, you have this self-made energy. It's like by you opening this door and putting some of your energy into this connection, this is going to really help you and allow you to um e- really embody a more stable, financially secure energy. Um and again, that's not saying that you're not capable of doing that without walking through this door. This is just saying that this is what's available to you now if you choose to open the door. So I just want to be clear on that. Okay. Then over here, we've got the Queen of Dreams and the King of Dreams. Let me make sure there's no nudity. Okay. And this is the King and Queen of Swords. This is air energy. This is our mental space energy. So I feel like this is really talking about you two coming together and being able to communicate very clearly and openly with each other. Um, mhm, mhm, mhm. And then, okay, so what's really interesting actually is we've got the 8 of songs here in between the two. And so there is an element of one or both of you that is going to need to walk away from something in order to allow this union to take place. But I feel like whatever that is, both of you are ready to do so. Um, so it's one of those things, if you do choose to walk through this door and then there's obstacles in the way of you two actually anchoring in a union and you both really want it, which I feel like you both do. Just in this energy, I feel like it's very, very mutually wanted to have this union. And there's going to be either one or both of you that is going to be asked or required to walk away from something. For some of you, this might be a long term relationship. For some of you, maybe this is a job, maybe this is a lifestyle, something like that. But there is going to be an element of walking away from something to allow this union to take place. But I feel like you're both ready to do what it takes to make those necessary action steps once the masculine opens the door and walks through. So I feel like this is an energy where, and I am picking up a full blown romantic union for most of you in this energy. And so that is something that both of you are desiring with each other. And if you choose to walk through that door, masculine, speaking to masculine, if you choose to walk through that door, your feminine is on board. And I'm not saying that it's going to be like you reach out and your feminine's like, okay, let's be together or something like that. I'm not saying that that's how it's going to go. It's just this energy of, if you walk through this door, if you go towards your feminine, communicate, in whatever way that looks like for you, and really talk about a potential future, then it's like you guys are going to figure it out together and listen to the guidance together and stay in that aligned space as much as possible and come together and figure out the next steps forward. Okay, I'm gonna see if anything else wants to come out, which is beautiful. 10 of skins. That's a 10 of wands. So the 10 of skins is like a burdened energy, but in this card in particular, I'm picking up mental burdens. And so that's something that is clearing. And okay, I'm picking up that for some of you, if you choose to reconnect, this mental burden energy is going to be something that is released, and then that's laying on this nine of honey, so that's laying on this nine of pentacles, this very secure, financially stable energy. And so by you two energetically coming together in the physical, it's going to really allow you both to release a ton of blockages when it comes to your finances. And then we've got the star. My motherfucking star. Just started hearing that part of that song. Um, yeah, this is literally, it's the star. Like, you're a star. Your person is a star. And you two together are an even brighter star. I just heard that. That's really fun. Okay, I'm being told to read this actually. Let's see. Okay, freedom, hope, and patience. So it's saying, hold on, I gotta make sure I cover it. Don't want to get in trouble by YouTube. All right. Um, how can you rest and what burdens do you need to put down for a moment? Where can you find comfort? How can you find hope? What do you have to look forward to? And what reassurance can you give yourself that the difficult things you are facing will pass? What is guiding you through the darkness? Mm, okay. So I just saw like another vision of it's that what's lighting your way in the darkness energy. And I feel like for the masculine, the feminine has been lighting your way through like the awakening and stuff like that. And it's mm, it's so the vision that I was seeing is it's like the feminine off in the distance just glowing. And then the masculine's kind of in this dark in the darkness, like on this really overgrown path. And then the masculine just keeps looking up and looking at that light and saying, okay, that's where I'm being guided to. And then I'm seeing the masculine get really close and it's almost it's one of those like, oh, this is so bright. But what you're not realizing is part of the reason that oh, that's really profound. Part of the reason that it's getting so much brighter is because you are shining now as well. Whew, just got chills on that one. So, all the beautiness. All right, anything else? Anything else? Yo, on the deck. Hmm. And then we've got the moon. So, okay, I just heard ruled by the moon and it's on the chariot card. And I'm thinking of Cancer energy, so take it as it resonates, but we do have all the signs out here. So that's just going to be extra confirmation for somebody. Um the moon is really talking about something hidden coming to light, seeing things from a different perspective and allowing yourself to kind of move through the darkness and allow those revelations to come in. Okay, and I'm being told to read this one as well. Alrighty. The moon is actually Pisces energy in the tarot. A lot of people think it's Cancer energy because Cancer is ruled by the moon, but um there's a whole reason for it, but it's actually technically Pisces energy. But there is the association with Cancer because Cancer is ruled by the moon. Anyways, this is talking about creativity, dreams, and tamelessness. Okay. What wild and unknown places do you need to explore within yourself? What do you need to release control of? How can you benefit from wildness? Um, what is your relationship with creativity? Are illusions misleading you or are they guiding you into more imaginative places? And then what I kind of saw or heard is if you do choose to come together with this person, there's this element of like of wild, free energy between you two. And it's grounded. So it's not like, completely, gonna get whisked away in the wind. But it's very much like you two will have this energetic counterbalance with each other where you feel safe enough to allow yourself to tap into deeper parts of yourself and then access greater levels of creativity. Um, and so I feel like that's just coming through to let you know a little bit more of what you have to look forward to if you choose to open the door right now. If not, I feel like you're really being asked to tap into your creative energy regardless and really let that start to flow. So and it doesn't have to be anything major. You don't have to set out with the intention of creating a masterpiece right away. Um, but it is really recommended to tap into that creative energy and allow yourself to flow through that energy a little bit and tap into it. And then there's also it's on the 9 of honey, so it's on the 9 of pentacles. So that's something else that I feel like is really resonant here is by you tapping into your creativity, and this is for both of you and together as well. By really tapping into this creative energy, that is going to really assist your financial stability. Okay. Anything else? I feel like there's another one. It's like I feel like there's another one, and then I heard something along the lines of like, or quite a few more, and then four just slipped out. All right, what do we got? The Lovers, a Tower, Eight of Dreams, and the Knight of Honey. Okay, this Lovers card is so cool. So this is definitely counterpart energy. This is your person, this is your match, and I just heard perfect match. So I feel like this is just extra confirmation to let you know that this energy is here and available if that's what you want, which I do feel like you do. I feel like you both want this, and it's just allowing yourself to pull out of your head and allow yourself to have it, basically. And then we've got the Tower. This is divine intervention, and I feel like this is what's going on right now. I feel like you are, and this is more for the masculine, I feel like you're getting your ass kicked by the universe a little bit. Not in a bad way, just in a very intense way. Not being able to fully rest, hearing all the things, seeing all the things, not being able to escape thoughts or dreams or reminders daily of your person. And the feminine's picking up on this energy too, so just so you know. Um, but I feel like it's really, really heavily impacting the masculine right now because the masculine is the one that has the choice to open the door or to keep it closed. Again, that doorknob only being on the masculine side is very, very it's a very real thing in the guidance. It's kind of like the ball's in your court as far as the masculine. Um, okay. We've got the Eight of Dreams, and this is a mental prison. This is being trapped, just 100% trapped in your thoughts. And so I do feel like this is very much the energy. The feminine actually might be experiencing this too right now because the feminine's feeling the energy. And the masculine is too. It's just again, when I find out for sure how the masculine experience is, I will let you know. From the feminine side, what I can say is it, it's one of those the feminine can feel some of the energy. And so if the masculine's really trapped in their thoughts, sometimes the feminine will find themselves trapped in their thoughts. And then it's really recommended for both of you to pull out of that energy, ground into the physical, look around, be in the present moment, and release that thought energy. And for the masculine, what I'm hearing is for you, there's action correlated to this. And so you're really being guided to take action, and that's going to help you shift out of this energy. But you can also, because like the guidance for the feminine is to allow yourself to ground into the present moment, release those thoughts, and pull into your now moment. But I feel like that's solid ass advice for the masculine too. Because that's going to help you to really tap into your intuition and really listen to what your intuition is saying. When we're stuck in our thoughts, it's hard to listen to the intuition because those thoughts get so loud. And then we've got the Knight of Honey, and this is a very slow moving but prepared energy. And so masculine, this could be the energy that you're in where you're like getting all your ducks in a row and you're making slow, steady progress towards your feminine. At this point, it's one of those, I feel like the message coming through is like you're prepared enough to open this door if that is really what you're desiring right now. You've prepared enough. You're good. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all of these things perfect and to perfection and precisely how you think it needs to be done. Just listen to your intuition because if your intuition is telling you that now is an okay time to move towards your feminine, trust that because you would not be getting that guidance if you weren't ready. and if your feminine wasn't ready. And so, and I'm being brought back to when I was talking about union windows when I first started this message. And that's part of the reason some of these other union windows weren't like this. Like there's been some union windows over I'm seeing like the past year or so, there have been union windows where you're in alignment enough. But now it's like you're really in alignment. You're both really on the same page. And that's why this energy is coming through so strongly right now, is because you are prepared enough. You are ready enough to walk through this door to romance. And it's you keeping yourself stuck in your thoughts that is preventing this from happening. And so I feel like it's really recommended for the masculine right now to pull out of your thoughts in whatever way that is for you, tap into the present moment and really listen to your intuition and see what your intuition is guiding you to do. Um and just be very mindful that you're not mistaking those anxious and fearful thoughts for intuition. Again, I'm being told to say this. So, intuition is more quiet, it's more subtle, and it's immediate. The anxious, fearful thoughts come in. Sometimes it'll come in like a lightning bolt. Um, and then they just take over and it gets really, really loud to where your intuition is more subtle. It's more, it's more of just like, yeah, do that thing. And then the fearful thoughts come in and they're like, "Oh, but wait, what if this? What if that? Maybe this, maybe that, maybe not, maybe yes." Yeah, like all that shit. So just be mindful of that. And do your best when you're tapping into the present moment and you're in to tap into the present moment, you can just basically just start looking around in your environment and seeing what is right in front of you. You know, okay, I see this over here, I see that over here, I'm hearing this, I'm feeling this, and really tap into this now moment and ignore those thoughts, ignore that thought energy that's swirling around you right now, don't attach to it, and keep focusing on what is in front of you in this now moment, and then ask a question and then see what comes up. So, okay, I see a chair. I see, I'm going through some things I'm seeing in my environment. I see a chair. I see hermit crabs in their tank. I see herbs in jars. I see, a lamp. Okay, now I'll ask the question, for this, is it in my highest good to open this door right now? And then you'll get an answer. You'll either hear it, maybe you'll see it, maybe you'll be like on your phone and then you'll see a yes or a no. Um, Maybe you'll just get a knowing. And it just depends on what abilities you have turned on and you're more tapped into. So if you've got your clairvoyance on, you might see something that indicates a yes. If you've got your clairaudience turned on, you may hear it. If it's what is that, clairsentience or claircognizance? It's one of those two. Those two I mix up a lot. But you'll know it. You'll feel a yes in your body. Um, I don't remember what video it was, but I was talking about muscle testing, and that's another really good way to do that. I don't remember what video it was. It might have been like, what was it, 3 videos ago, 3 divine counterpart readings ago, or divine masculine readings ago. I think it was 3, maybe 4. I don't remember. But I go into muscle testing in one of those videos. If you're interested in that and that's kind of ringing a bell and striking some curiosity, um, feel free to look it up. It's a really useful tool. I am going to actually do a whole separate video on that, and then I'll link it to the end of this one when I make that video. But if you're watching this in real time, I have not made that video yet. Um, so that's just a really good tool to kind of really tap into that intuitive energy and see what your intuition is actually telling you. Also, your intuition it's not of the fear vibration. So even when you get a gut feeling that's like, I need to get out of here, your intuition is sensing danger. and is like, "You need to get out of this situation," but it's not coming in and telling you all the reasons why and what could happen and what this is and da 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 da. It's just like, "Hey, there's literally a danger. You need to remove yourself." And then, and then that's it. That's your intuition. And then the mind can come through and try and come up with all these reasons why you felt that. Your intuition is very it's subtle. Especially at first when you're still dealing in the energy of having all the anxious, fearful thoughts running rampant all the time. Um, it's a lot quieter. The more you work with it, the louder it gets, but it's never as loud as like the fearful type of thoughts. Those get really loud and really intense and really incessant. Is that the right word? Hmm. Anyways, okay. I feel like that's the message. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this here before I go round and round about how you can listen to your intuition. Um, anyways, I hope this helps. I hope this helps to provide some guidance. If so, you can let me know in the comments below. I would love to talk to you about it. Feel free to hit that like button. It does help out the channel, so thank you. And if you would like to see more from me, you can hit subscribe. It is free, and I will see you on the next message. Bye.